star, huh?
Yeah.
I'm turned up already.
This fellow's name is Steve Van Duzen, and he's graciously offered to take some of his time here and take us through and explain the situation. So you can go from here.
All right. This is the electron generating station run by Sound Energy currently. The plant was originally construction was originally started in 1903, and the plant went online for the first time in April of 1904. We've been generating power ever since then. There's been a few minor incidences throughout the year that have shut it down for some repair. The original powerhouse looked completely different from the one you see today. It used to be a concrete and brick building, and it had many more stories up on top of what you see now. But in 1936, there was a slide that came down and destroyed the original powerhouse. They rebuilt it after that into this building you see today. There are 3 of the original generators still operating. There's 4 generators total. Number 4, which is the first generator you'll see when you walk in the door, was replaced in 1926 when there was a lightning strike on the line, and it destroyed the first generator in line. That's what would happen. The lightning would go to the first generator. It destroyed that. Since then, they've come up with lightning protection technology, which won't allow that to happen anymore, but they didn't know anything about that back then. So number 4 was replaced by it came out of a mine, and it wasn't a generator, it was a motor, and it ran a big fan system to bring air down into the mine system. Well, they converted it to a generator and put it in here, and it's also a bigger generator than the original 3. The original 3 generators run about 5 to 5.5 megawatts apiece. A megawatt is 1,000,000 watts. So within an hour's time, if it's running at full load, the one generator will make 5 million watts of power in an hour. In today's generation system, that's very small. We're considered a small hydroelectric facility. Number 4, which is the bigger generator, is about 7.5 megawatt machine. At full capacity, the plant puts out about 24 to 25 megawatts an hour. We're not a typical, what people think of as a hydroelectric plant with a dam and a reservoir. We're what they call a run-of-the-river plant. So about 10 miles upstream on the Puyallup River here, we have a diversion dam, which just lets us control where the water goes. We don't hold any back in a reservoir. We just either let it go down the river naturally, or we divert it into what we call a flume, which is just an 8-foot square wooden box that travels along the hillside and carries the water up here to the top of the hill. So in that 10-mile span, the river going through the natural canyon drops about 1,000 feet in elevation, where we divert the water, we only drop it about 10 feet in a mile, which equates to about 100 feet in that 10 miles. So by the time the water reaches the top of the hill, and we drop it back down through the fence stacks through the generators, it's almost 900 feet of drop, and that's where we get the pressure to spin our generators. And then the water just goes right back in the river. So the water just goes around. Whatever we're taking out is what we're putting back in. There is no storage of water here.
Who made the generators?
Generators were built by GE. They're Pelton wheel turbines. So the turbines are basically big buckets. They're big bucket wheels, and there's a stream of water that shoots underneath like a big fire hose, and it just hits the buckets and spins them. When we go inside, you'll see these 2 cases that are around the 2 generator wheels, or 2 turbine wheels, and in the middle of them is the generator. So the generator's in the center, and on each side there's a turbine that spins it, and they're connected by a shaft in the middle. It's pretty noisy inside, so I'm probably not going to be able to tell you too much while we're in there. We'll go through the powerhouse. We'll just walk straight through the middle there. Nothing too dangerous as long as you don't get too far off. There's quite a few people here. I don't think we'll all fit in the control room. But we'll go straight through, and we'll check out the control room. All the equipment for running these generators is about the mid-1930s vintage. After the slide destroyed the powerhouse, they rebuilt the inside the controls and all that, and we still operate off those controls that they put back in after the 1936 slide. Any modern plants. What's that?
How many transistors in there?
Yeah.
Transistors?
Never heard of them.
Yeah, what's the transistor? No, not too much. They have been controls upgrades as far as what you don't see, but the boards and the knobs and all the stuff that we handle every day, that's pretty much the original stuff. And there's not really any advantage to upgrading that, so we just run that way. Everything's manual. Newer machines, you just push a start button and it starts all by itself. Here you have to run everything yourself. You have to sync it online with the big scope and all that kind of stuff. It's all manually done still.
This plant, how big of an area does it supply? Power?
If you, in general, a megawatt will serve about 100 homes. In general, it all depends, but so you figure a 24 megawatt plant, you're looking at about 3,000 homes.
But this doesn't go to a particular area. It just goes.
No,
into
it just
the
goes
system.
into the grid and it just gets used out of the grid. There is no specific
Firing up the
generation.
town order.
Right. That doesn't happen anymore because everything is tied together anymore. We're tied to the whole Western grid, which is the whole Western United States. So anything from California, Oregon, Idaho, anything basically west of the mountains is our grid, and we're all tied to that.
Way back when were you serving?
When this plant originally went online, it was dedicated to the cities in Tacoma, and it ran the light railways. They had electrified railways and stuff. It was dedicated to those kind of things, and there were substations positioned throughout those areas so they could transfer power here, there, wherever they needed it. And so back when it was first built, it was specific.
What's the primary voltage coming out of here?
We generate off the generators at 2,300 volts. That comes out of the building through this transformer, and it's bumped up to, I believe this is a 230 line, thank you. 230,000 volts. Yes, because this goes right into the transmission system, right off that transformer.
Comes out two-phase.
Yes. Yep.
All right, let's go.
Any other questions?
How do you get it phased in? It's three-phase, right?
Yes.
How do you get it phased into the rest of the system when you're plug it in? It could be out of phase. You have somewhere.
Yes, we use a synchroscope. So what you'll do when you turn the generator on is you'll get it spinning up to a speed, and you have to match system voltage, and you have to match system hertz. Everything is at 60 hertz. So we have gauges in there, so when you turn the machine on, run it up to speed, put a field on it. Once you match what you're making to what the system is, your gauges will tell you that, and then you can close the breaker and tie it together. Cool. Shall we walk inside?
Let's go for a walk.
Okay.
You bet.
It's going to be a little bit crowded in there with everybody.
They school us all night long, and when the mountain boys see my town, they'll all wanna move on down for electricity. From out on the road I see electricity. My town looked like a ship at sea. Electricity. Been told of a place called Coney Island. Electricity. You can eat and play till the sun is rising. Electricity. All the well just turned to fold, and it might swallow me whole. Electricity. Can you see me now? Yes, Papa can see me everywhere. Sun or rain, there ain't no care. Electricity. Put away your candles, put away your oil lamps. I've got fire in a wire. Electricity. From out on the road I see my town looked like a ship at sea. Electricity. Been told of a place called Coney Island. Electricity. And you can eat and play till the sun is rising. Electricity. All the well just turned to fold, and it might swallow me whole. Oh, electricity.
Now, that picture up on the wall right there, is that the picture of the original?
That is the original powerhouse, yes.
There's the original up there. Picture.
And as you can see,
that road that we drove in on was
a bunch
railroad
of
grade originally.
floors up above. This is about the current height of the roof now.
Flat roof on rail.
Back then, like I said, they were learning how to make electricity. So all their components on everything they did, all their switches, all that stuff was just giant machinery, and they were kind of afraid of it. So they really spaced everything way out. Everything had huge spaces and walls between it. Well, you know, something that took a whole room to do back then now fits in a little box like this. So.
And what's that, a tramway or something going up there?
This is just to catch water and runoff and stuff from the hillside. That's just a little trough just to divert it around coming into the backside of the powerhouse. But
the dam?
no, that's somewhere else. That's the Wells project. This is a picture from a 1936 newspaper, Tacoma News Tribune, of a picture of this powerhouse after it was hit by the slide.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. No, that lumber parked on top of it.
I think he got it upside down.
That's the actual newspaper. And this one you can see, this is a picture of the flume that carries our water. It runs, it's all above ground, and it runs along, and it just follows the topography of the land. They didn't cut any hillside to make it straight.
Just supports.
They just supported it, and it's basically supported by what looks like railroad trestle bents. You know, if you've ever seen an old railroad trestle with all the wood underneath it, it's supported all the way along it for 10 miles like that. And there's no real access to it from the ground. There's no roads to it. So there's a railroad track that runs all along the top of it. So all our maintenance is done by railroad cars that we build here on site and travel out along the flume to do maintenance on it. balls. And as that spins, it spins that wheel and those fly balls will move out. And if that moves out, it pushes the rod down. So that's how it knows how fast it's going. If it's going faster, those fly out more. Slower, they'll be closer. So it automatically adjusts right to the coil. So by the setting you give it, it'll try and maintain